Hello and welcome to our overview of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency and digital payment system. It is the first digital cryptocurrency, and therefore it's the biggest. It was put into the marketplace at 2009, released as open source, and Bitcoin has the distinction of having a set amount of coins ever minted, 21 million for that matter. It is a peer-to-peer type of currency, so it's digital, just like a euro or a yen would be. But instead of sending, for example, instead of wiring $1,000 to you, I could just simply send a certain amount of Bitcoin to your wallet, which is where you keep your currency, your cryptocurrency. At this point, they have the blockchain, and the blockchain allows you to see transactions, every transaction actually, in very open source ways of showing, I sent half a Bitcoin or a tenth of a Bitcoin or a full Bitcoin to your wallet. And therefore, people can checksum to make sure the math all works and that the system isn't being abused. Because remember, 21 million is as far as we go. Now, you can split up Bitcoins. You don't have to buy or sell or trade a full Bitcoin. You can trade up to a millionth of a Bitcoin. A millibitcoin, for example, is 0.001. 1,000th of a Bitcoin, 1 millionth of a Bitcoin is actually called a micro Bitcoin. So, it breaks down pretty significantly. Now, when you look at Bitcoin's value, you can see that at the beginning of 2017, we have exploded to the upside, just taken off to 5,000. There are several different exchanges that you can trade Bitcoin on, so I would also point that out. This chart here happens to be on Bitstamp. There will be other prices on other exchanges. Again, it's decentralized. There is no concerns of manipulation by governments around the world. So that's one aspect that people like. The anonymity of being a wallet online and not a name, so to speak. It's a series of numbers is something that people like. And a lot of people are starting to pay with their mobile phone, with apps, with their digital wallets, for various services. It's not just, you got a lot of bad press in the past about Bitcoin being used on Silk Road and other black sites on the web. But now you can buy pizzas. You can go to overstock.com. There's several different places. Now, it must be said that although a lot of money has flown into this market as of late, it is still minute compared to the Forex markets. So liquidity becomes an issue. And because of that, we have seen some pretty horrific sell-offs from time to time in very short order. But you can see that we continue to go higher over the longer term. And that is what we've seen. 5,000 was a magnet for price. We'll probably go beyond there. The question now becomes, what are governments going to do? And that is really the biggest threat, because while it is anonymous and governments can't necessarily manipulate it, at least not publicly, but I'm sure that various intelligence agencies have started to look into this. But leaving that alone, leaving any type of conspiracy alone, the reality is Russia is starting to take steps to make Bitcoin something that the average person can't use. China is starting to crack down on ICOs, initial coin offerings. So the future's still up in the air. We don't know how it's going to play out, because if they make it so that you cannot exchange Bitcoin for a currency, for example, you can't change your Bitcoin into dollars, then Bitcoin has a serious problem. Right now, it's not there, but it certainly looks as if they are trying to regulate this market. The SEC, for that matter, is even starting to look into it. So it's hard to tell at this point where we go next. Now, in the near term, it certainly looks like it wants to go higher. If it becomes a standardized, accepted method of payment and without much in the way of government interference, then I'm sure it'll be fine. But right now, I certainly think that the buyers are in control. And when I look at the monthly chart, you can't argue that we're in an uptrend. But then again, you can't argue that we haven't spiked to the upside out, just way out of control. A serious pullback is very possible. Quite frankly, it'd be very healthy down to at least 3,000, if not 2,500 at this point. But we'll have to wait and see if we get that. Bitcoin is definitely the leader, though, because typically when you see cryptocurrency sell off, Bitcoin tends to do better than the other ones. Some of the newer currencies just get absolutely whacked when Bitcoin may lose 10%. They may lose 20%. So you can go to the exchanges. You can buy a little bit of Bitcoin. You can sell it later for profit, hopefully. It is a exchange, medium of exchange, value, if you will, for various goods and services. But right now, during 2017, we've seen more speculators jump in than anything else. The longer-term outlook for blockchain is probably where the real value is going to come, the ability to anonymously keep track of transactions. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That's probably the longer-term viability there is the blockchain. But certainly Bitcoin is something that people have taken a shine to and is even being used as a bit of a safe haven from time to time.